stations in town, they've been able to keep their power going thanks to FEMA. So we're all sort of in this together, the Herald and the couple of radio stations that are on in town and ourselves, trying to keep the information flowing at least as fast as the river if we can.
That's right. You can't even recognize this city anymore.
No, I agree with the sheriff's deputy who said that it doesn't seem like your own city. It's hard to, I mean, I certainly felt that after I woke up today after finally a good hard night of sleep, and I woke up in a strange bed. I slept over in one of our reporters' apartments right next to the station. I got a bed for once there. And then,
lucky.
And you know, it just didn't seem the right place. It must have been the feeling of being in a strange room and then realizing I had to walk over to the station, and that's the edge of town. We're on South Washington, the edge of town. So. And
I've been holed up here, so I haven't really gotten a chance to see what our reporters and photographers have seen who have been out covering the news stories. I've been here answering phones, typing things, doing announcements on the set for the past couple of days.
Yeah, there's that. I guess that must be the Sherlock Park area, or maybe Greg, is that, because that's East Grand Forks there, if I kind of was looking away from the screen, or am I wrong about that?
This could be the Lincoln Park area,
that's
I'm
Lincoln
not sure.
Park. Oh,
that
that's
might have been Lincoln Elementary that we just saw.
Yeah, we talked about East Grand Forks having houses 10 to 15. Right in that area, obviously, we have houses in that area too. I forgot about those houses being so low.
This is the Lincoln Golf Course. It looks more like a large water hazard.
As we said, it's 6. The water filled up in there and came in the back way to some of those communities. Instead of coming from the river, it came through the golf course, which is adjacent to the river. We get a quick glance of my condominium as we come around to the south, but it's pretty quick. I did, after the news, went and froze that video in the control room and got my first look at the water, and that's at least up probably to the ceiling.
Is that it right there?
I don't know, I may have just missed it. We did just miss it. It's right off to the right there.
Because if that is, the garages are covered the way it looks.
Yeah, the garages on the river side were in the floodplain. They built the garages down there to withstand, with a flood door and everything, up to 54 feet. But as I say, the river came up. We had diked a little bit too, and that was fine, but the river came over from the golf course, and then they ended up having to put a dike on Belmont behind our apartments to try and save that area. And some of those houses probably didn't take on a lot of water. That particular area of Belmont is high. A little farther north, it's very low, where they built the clay dike in the first place, right across the road. But those houses, that water came over that dike on Friday, I believe. So, you know, everybody has a tragic story, and I'm sure they're sharing those and commiserating at these shelters about what they have. Some people don't know. Hopefully you can pick out your neighborhood and see. Certainly some houses very close to the river right there that look like the water may only be right up against the wall. So it seems to be almost high and dry right there.
This is a good view of the south end of Grand Forks. Again, there's not too many areas that don't have water. Maybe that house right there.
You know, this area, protected, or I guess maybe protected isn't the word, but there are some houses there that have some dry patches and may not have any water unless it seeped in through the bottom. Obviously, sump pumps have been turned off in a lot of these areas because the electricity had to be turned off. So, but you know, you see some houses here. Obviously, that's a little bit higher area of land anyway, but perhaps the Cooley diversion project that came in after the '79 helped to save some of those homes in the southern part of the city. Certainly now we're moving up in elevation so that there's several homes that are look to be fine.
That's some of the Cherry Street townhomes that we're looking at too.
Our reporter Terry Doolum, who
lives in that area,
who's been at this station, anyone on the air, and obviously has never seen anything like this. And I believe he's, as all of us are, is a little choked up about the whole thing, but maybe his apartment, his townhome is high and dry, we hope.
A lot of people came out to help sandbag around his house today, and he extended a special thank you to them, and you could hear the emotion in his voice too, and it made me choke up a little bit just listening to him talking about all of the help that came in, helping to protect his home, and all of the gracious people in Honeyford, North Dakota, who were helping when we have our mini studio up there.
And at that point, when we set all that up, we did not know that FEMA would give us a generator, and So we definitely set that up for that reason. They are out there using editing equipment anyway to bring us stories for the next several days. So we needed it out there anyway, but it is set up that if our power ever does go out for any reason, we can continue to broadcast. Obviously, we believe the cable system is out. Obviously, we know it's out, but it's most likely because of the power outages and taking on water at TCI. But we are still being broadcast over the air, over the airways. The old-fashioned method with the rabbit ears will pick us up if you're not getting us on cable right now.
Town building. The cause still isn't clear, but officials believe it was sparked by leaking gas or an electrical malfunction.
It was burning so hot and shooting embers and stuff so far that, buildings a block away were starting on fire, the roofs of buildings.
Millions of gallons of water flood the streets, but the firefighters can't use any of it. Their trucks can't make it through the floodwaters. The firemen send divers into the icy water to locate hydrants 5 feet under. They finally hook up their hoses, but there isn't any pressure.
You just had to be there and watch it and try to move with it.
It's like the fire has been burning all night, destroying the heart of the city. Unable to put the flames out from the ground, firefighters attack from the air. First, planes dump fire-retardant chemicals. Then helicopters unleash a deluge, thousands of gallons of water scooped from the flood itself. Finally, they bring the flames under control, but not before 3 blocks of Grand Forks Business District have been reduced to smoldering ruins. By Monday afternoon, the Red River is running nearly 26 feet above flood stage. Grand Forks is a ghost town. Most of its residents have fled. 90% of it is underwater. An American city has been totally devastated.
What they have endured is enormous. How they are enduring it is remarkable.
1 p.m. today, the crisis in Grand Forks had that President Clinton flies over the area and promises up to $500 million in federal aid. In Fargo, the homes of Ab Leiter and his neighbors are intact and dry.
Disaster ever.
The impressive, massive Air Force One pulled into the Grand Forks Air Force Base today, bringing the president and an unprecedented list of cabinet secretaries, all here to witness firsthand the destruction caused by an unforgettable winter and spring. Soon the president, still nursing his injury, came off Air Force One. He met with Minnesota and North Dakota's congressional delegations and Red River Valley mayors, telling them he is asking Congress for an additional $200 million for the area, bringing the total flood relief package so far to nearly $500 million. Then the president got on board a Marine helicopter to witness for himself the devastation of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, the flooding, the burned out buildings, a part of America that today looks more like post-war Europe. The president calls it a heart-wrenching tour. Houses covered with floodwaters, businesses and schools destroyed.
With blizzards, floods, and fires all at the same time. I had never seen that before. And when I saw pictures of some of you stacking sandbags in a blizzard, I thought that I had bad reception on my television at first. It was an amazing thing. I don't recall ever in my life seeing anything like this, and I have been very impressed by the courage and the faith that all of you have shown in the face of what has been a terrible, terrible dilemma.
In an unprecedented move, Clinton told flood victims and local officials FEMA will pay the full costs of emergency work, 100%. It's clear the president's visit today and the flood coverage he's watched made the difference.
Anyone who has been here and seen the destruction, as I have, knows that this is not an ordinary disaster, if there is such a thing. The people here are giving 100%, and we should too.
Grand Forks
And the rest of America has, I think, looked with great compassion and pain, but also enormous admiration at the heroic conduct of the people of this, of all these states in the last several days when they've gone through things that